Hello viewers, welcome back to our YouTube channel. If you are new here, please hit the subscribe button and be a part of our family. The best horror movies on Netflix right now, part 6. Your entertainment guide, movie.
Anaconda.
The campy cult classic that is Anaconda is a masterclass of absurd terror. Jennifer Lopez stars alongside Ice Cube, Owen Wilson, Eric Stoltz, Danny Trejo, and a scenery-chewing Jon Voight in this story about a documentary film crew in the Amazon rainforest who become prey to a massive green anaconda. With visual effects that are equal parts ridiculous and gruesome and a collection of over-the-top performances, Anaconda is a masterpiece of the elusive so-bad-it's-good genre. It's a truly bonkers picture that must be seen to be believed.
No one's coming to help us.
Stay strong now. I'm coming.
The fourth entry in the Purge movie franchise, but the first film within its chronology, The First Purge is a worthy addition to this unexpectedly successful series. The film depicts the origins of the Purge, which begins as an experiment on Staten Island where the winners are offered a large sum of money for staying and surviving the chaos. Things get complicated when a new political group, the New Founding Fathers, emerge, determined to get things their way. Although it doesn't venture outside its series' familiar territory, The First Purge continues to explore the same themes that made the original so successful, mixing its social subtext with overt and shockingly effective violent thrills.
The same again.
They forgot about one thing. They forgot about us.
Starring an ensemble of young talent, including Oscar nominee Maria Bakalova and the underrated Amandla Stenberg, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is among the most celebrated horror comedies in recent years. The plot centers on a group of 20-somethings trapped at a mansion during a hurricane. When a party game leads to a dead body, the group starts turning on each other as secrets emerge. Wickedly funny and refreshingly subversive, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is an appropriately chaotic blend of comedy and slasher horror that will keep audiences entertained, and might even make them scream more than a few times.
It's so stressed out every time we play this. Someone always ends up crying.
Eli Roth directs the hysterical Thanksgiving, based on his fake trailer from the Robert Rodriguez movie Grindhouse. Set a year after a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, the film follows a small town terrorized by a deranged killer out for revenge. A love letter to the classic slashers of the past, Thanksgiving strikes the perfect balance between comedy and gore. It's bloody, over-the-top, and explosive, delivering an uncommonly dynamic slasher that will surely become a staple of the season of giving.
Are you alright?
No.
T. West Sex is among the best films of 2022 and a brilliant slasher that proves the subgenre is very much alive. Starring an ensemble led by a hypnotic Mia Goth in a dual role, the plot centers on a group of pornographers wanting to shoot a film in an elderly couple's secluded farmhouse. However, it soon becomes clear they are being targeted by a dangerous killer when they start dying under gruesome circumstances. Excelling as a commentary on sexuality and old age and a loving ode to 1970s cinema, X is a fascinating horror picture from a remarkably daring and unabashed mind.
They're tearing through everyone's home.
Oppenheimer's Josh Hartnett and Melissa George star in the action horror film 30 Days of Night. The plot concerns an isolated Alaskan town that becomes the target of hungry vampires wanting to take advantage of a 30-day period of total darkness. With an intriguing premise, competent action sequences, and two committed central performances, 30 Days of Night is an underappreciated horror gem from the 2000s. It has more than a few plot holes, and the story often threatens to crumble, but director David Slade and a scene-stealing Danny Huston keep this action nightmare afloat. ultimately resulting in a worthwhile picture that's a must-see for fans of vampiric cinema.
Resident Evil.
Milla Jovovich first played her now iconic heroine Alice in Paul W. Wes Anderson's 2002 horror action film Resident Evil. Co-starring Michelle Rodriguez and Eric Mabius, the film follows a group of Umbrella Corporation commandos attempting to contain the dangerous T-virus while trapped in a secret underground facility. Loosely based on the first two games of the Resident Evil game series, the film would launch one of the most successful horror sagas in modern cinema. Although far from perfect, Resident Evil remains a worthwhile mix of over-the-top action and horror that does justice to its source material, largely thanks to Jovovich's fiercely committed lead performance.
You're all going to die down here.
Andy Muschietti reinvented Stephen King's seminal novel It with his 2017 remake. Bill Skarsgård plays Pennywise the Dancing Clown, the personification of an ancient creature terrorizing the children of the small Maine town of Derry. The film stars an ensemble of young actors, including Jaden Martell, Sophia Lillis, Wyatt Oleff, and Jack Dylan Grazer. It rises on the strength of the incredible cast, with Skarsgård making the legendary killer clown his own and reinventing him for a modern audience. Chilling without forgetting about the human aspect at the story's heart, it is among the superior horror films of the 2010s.
Your boyfriend now, Nancy. From Wes Craven.
Robert Englund became a horror icon with his portrayal of Freddy Krueger in the late Wes Craven's game-changing supernatural slasher film A Nightmare on Elm Street. The story centers on a group of teenagers who find themselves haunted by Freddy Krueger, a vengeful serial killer who targets them in their sleep as revenge for their parents burning him alive. A Nightmare on Elm Street marks a before and after in horror, redefining the genre's boundaries and cementing Craven as a talent unlike any other. Original, genuinely scary, and instantly iconic, the film is a modern masterpiece and a seminal watch for any self-respecting horror fan.
No one will survive.
Train to Busan is among the most successful South Korean movies in recent memory. Set on a KTX high-speed train from Seoul to Busan during a zombie outbreak, the film follows Suk-woo, who, along with his daughter and fellow passengers, must stay alive on the speeding train. A near-perfect blend of thrills, chills, and relevant social commentary, Train to Busan is a successful take on the zombie genre. Emotional without sacrificing the action expected from a zombie movie, Train to Busan excels as a purely entertaining action-adventure and a genuinely harrowing horror picture.